domestic manufacturers, which will be more expensive. Otherwise, we would have been manufacturing here already. We sent them elsewhere because it was cheaper.
True.
And so he's saying we'll bring factories back.
You're saying it's in our job?
Kind of. I mean, also automation and just general structural changes, which is why we see even in economies with trade surpluses, the manufacturing share of employment declines over time.
So you agree Trump's lying when he says foreign countries pay the tariff?
I don't say he's lying,
But he's wrong.
but I'm saying it's not the complete truth.
It's not true at all.
Because everybody is involved in who's paying tariffs. Ultimately, it's the companies doing business, but then ultimately it ends up with the consumer. So I have some good feelings about tariffs. I have some not.
Wait,
so
no. Who cares if it's the company? It's still American company. It's America. It's U.S. dollars going to the treasury from Americans and American companies. Folks, liking and subscribing really helps me continue to produce content and is greatly appreciated. You can also make sure to check out my Discord server in the description below, where you can also find my Twitch, my Kick, and my Twitter.
Landmark economic policy is tariff. That's like his biggest thing.
True.
Well, let's start with the big picture. Trump has
Tariffs.
the right vision.
We'll get there. Let's just get clear. Who pays the tariff?
Okay, first of all, I'm a businessman. I do growth scale.
Oh my God. Let's see. How long will it take him to answer?
Full work around the world. I got hundreds of clients. I've been 30 years of building businesses.
Beautiful.
I can tell you firsthand the reason why many of my American companies can't get into foreign markets is because of tariff barriers.
Just because Trump always seems confused about this, who is it that pays a tariff?
Well, the importer does.
The importer.
Right.
So
Okay, we know that much. Okay, maybe it's a businessman. Obviously, you know, I'm sure there are absolutely some cases of like, oh, you know, U.S. companies can't really compete in export markets because of some, you know, trade restrictions that other countries put on us. But like on average, if we just look at the, you know, tariffs that were on us before Trump did all his Liberation Day, you know, a bunch of tariff trade war bullshit, they were pretty low, especially if our biggest trading partners like Japan had like a 1.64% average effective tariff rate on us or something. Same thing with like the EU, right? There were some countries like India that had like slightly like higher ones, like close to like 15% or 18% or something. But a lot of that is also like, you know, trade in agricultural goods, which we probably don't care about as much. And like agriculture there's never been free trade in agriculture on either side. We don't engage in free trade in agriculture either, even before Trump. Like we do a bunch of subsidies that we would deem unfair if, you know, China did them to us or India did them to us, like obviously.
every time Trump says foreign countries.
By the way, I tweeted this a little bit ago. I absolutely, like, if China did to Argentina what we're doing to Argentina, I think we'd fucking call it trade manipulation. I think we'd say it's currency manipulation. We got to retaliate in China for this shit. Like, maybe that's not true. I don't know, but it seems like that's true.
Are the ones
Feels
that
like
pay the
that's
tariff.
true.
It's not U.S. companies. He's lying. We agree.
That's true.
He's lying. Okay, good. It's weird for his whole economic policy to be based on a lie, but
well,
okay,
well, what does it do? So the tariff barriers create fair access. So it's all about fairdom. Americans, look around the country, look around the room. You got some of the most talented people you will ever know in the world. We can give us a chance to compete.
What?
Good. It's weird for his whole.
I literally did not understand what he said.
Based on a lie, but
well,
okay, continue.
what does it do? So the tariff barriers create fair access. So it's all about fairdom. Americans, look around the room. You got some of the most talented people you will ever know in
Talented, okay.
the world. We can give us a chance to compete. Level playing field. We will do the work. We will bring in the international business. Many of our jobs, with globalization, which I live, many of our jobs have gone international because of unfair.
Real.
Even when we had
wow, true. Soros, please. I don't even know. Fairdom, yeah, I know. Guys, I'm tired, boss. I'm tired, boss. For one, it just doesn't seem like that many jobs were lost to trade overall to begin with, especially like on net trade. You know, great jobs. Like we would imagine, trade probably helps our export industry. Even if like import penetration loses some jobs in some sectors, you know, that's reallocated to other sectors that are higher productivity, right? We specialize in doing services that are higher productivity, higher paying. So like the average wage rate in our country goes up. And also consumers, you know, now spend less money on whatever good they're importing. You know, the reason they're importing it is because it's some combination of cheaper and better quality than the alternative American good. And if they spend less money on, you know, Chinese socks as opposed to American made socks, now what they have extra money to spend in other sectors in the American economy as well, right? So like, you know, just on net, Mr. Foddo feels so good. You know, just on net, there's every reason to believe it creates jobs. You can look at studies that show how many studies continuing to cite to believe that tariffs, tariffs lose net jobs and trade creates net jobs. God, there's one thing I was going to pull up and I forgot what it was by now. It's the Krugman, what should trade negotiators negotiate about? The unfair trade thing is not even really, so I don't think many jobs were lost due to trade to begin with, but it doesn't even, the unfair trade thing, it's kind of, I think it's wrong to assume that like it's a net benefit to impose tariffs, even if there is some level of unfair trade going on. This is what Krugman says, is like a old paper too, but it still applies today, funnily enough. International trade is really just a production technique, a way to produce importables indirectly by producing exportables, then exchanging them. There will be gains to be had from this technique so long as the world relative prices differ from domestic opportunity costs, regardless of the source of that difference. That is, it does not matter from the point of view of national gains from trade whether other countries have different relative prices because they have different resources, different technologies, different tastes, different labor laws, or different environmental standards. All that matters is that they be different. Then we can gain from trading with them. Suppose your country has been cheerfully exporting airplanes and importing clothing in return, believing that the competitive advantage of your trading partners in clothing is fairly earned through exceptional productive efficiency. Then one day, an investigative journalist, in hot pursuit of Kathy Lee Gifford, reveals that clothing is actually produced in a 60-cent an hour sweatshops that foul the local air and water. You may be outraged, but the beneficial trade you thought you had yesterday has not become any less economically beneficial to your country now that you know that it is based on these objectionable practices. So, there's that. And he's not going to, these people are not going to be able to point to like any actual super specific stuff that's like unfair trading practices or whatever. I don't think they so rarely ever get specific on it. And it doesn't even seem like Trump certainly does not seem to be like super hardcore committed to like achieving fair trade. Every single quote unquote deal he's gotten, which are really like non-binding phase 1 agreements that are 5 pages long and are, don't actually represent any real commitments, and are a subject of being torn apart at any time. If Trump gets really upset about an ad that he sees about Ronald Reagan and tariffs, he might just tear up the trade deal and impose a bunch of tariffs in Canada, right? Like, but like every single one of these quote unquote deals leaves up tariffs on our side. There have been some where he gets down the tariffs, put up on our exports, but he still leaves tariffs up on our side. So our consumers pay taxes on imports. Like it is just a fundamentally like mercantilist philosophy that he has. That's why he complains about trade deficits all the time. He's not aiming for fair trade. He's aiming for mercantilism.
Property in China, we had to hire a non-tariff barrier. We had to hire a Chinese spy to be in our telecom company, still in our secrets.
Okay, that's like we got to go more. When you look at the impact, we've seen job growth slowing, we've seen GDP growth slowing,
GDP increased 3.8% during the second quarter, nearly identical to the same period in 2024. Wow. Average monthly job gains have slowed, but the unemployment rate, the total number of unemployed people hasn't really changed. Wow, incredible. Yes. Thank you, Jubilee. Fact check. We're not going to mention that GDP in the first quarter contracted. So I think it is still below trend. Although obviously it did experience a sort of regression to the mean or whatever. After that, I thought there should be like a CBO like trend line you can check or whatever. So far, Asian importers are absolutely absorbing tariffs. Still, they haven't been raising prices. What do you if they don't change prices? That means consumers are paying. If they were absorbing it, they wouldn't just not be raising prices. They'd be lowering prices, right? They'd be lowering the pre-export price, but that just doesn't seem like that's happening. I should be able to find a graph on this. Maybe I can make one in Fred or whatever. But I think the CBO like has a baseline GDP they expect or whatever, and we're still like below that because of the reduction in Q1 GDP. Like obviously, if you have a month, like if the trend line is growing 2% every month, or every quarter, we'll say, and you have a contraction 1 month, it's not or quarter. It's not enough for the next quarter to be just 2% again. just at the trend before because you're still below the trend at that point, right? No, they're selling to the U.S. market for max price. The U.S. market will bear, which is like a nickel less than I don't know. They're selling to the U.S. market for the max price the U.S. market will bear. That's what every seller does. But there's now a tariff applied to that when you import it, which is paid by an American company or an American consumer.
Employment ticking up, employment getting worse. That's all an impact of him.
If tariffs were going up, everyone would be pinching a fit about Amazon increasing their prices. Obviously, there have been goods on Amazon which have increased prices because of the tariffs. Now, there are exemptions for many things, and like the actual effective tariff rate is lower than a lot of the announced tariffs that Trump had. But it's undeniable. Like we can look at actually Micah wrote about it today. I don't know if he just cites the same thing. I think he just cites one of the same things I've seen, but he might cite something else as well. I think it's undeniable that if you just look at the trend line for goods prices, primarily because of tariffs, it's pretty radically diverged from that. Like this is from the tax foundation. I think this is from the Calveo person or whatever. Like this is tracking online prices, I believe. I believe like this is literally from scraping prices online. And you can see imported goods and even domestic goods that are affected by tariffs are like well above the trend line. Since it looks like January was kind of when it diverged, or even like April here, like April 2nd.
Slapping the futures. He's also tariffing, just quickly, Brazil, which we have a trade surplus with, so it's not the trade barrier reason.
Truth. And not only that, by the way, in the letter he sent to Brazil, he said they had a trade deficit. He didn't even know. Or maybe he did know, he just didn't care. Like it's totally incompetent. Who'd you vote for in Argentina's elections? I have no clue.
In countries where it doesn't even make coherent sense because he's upset about this thing or that thing, but then we're the ones paying the consequences.
Let's be clear.
That's incoherent.
Let's be clear about impact. In the second quarter, which we just finished, in the second quarter, GDP was at 3%, which is a normal range for us. Core inflation at 2.1 to 2.4%, which is normal for us. Unemployment down at 4%.
You agree that we saw 48 consecutive months of job growth under Biden?
Metro, I said I don't know. I have no clue.
And then Trump came in and we lost jobs for the first time in June, I think it was.
True. But I think this is that it's going to be intuitive to the average person or whatever, but like technically like it's obviously not good causal inference. Like now I think rhetorically what Luke Beasley here is doing a lot is more rhetorically effective than me saying, well, actually, if you read Lydia Cox 2023, when Trump imposed steel tariffs, although it protected maybe 1,000 steel jobs, it actually led to about 80,000 job losses in downstream industries. So it was a net job loss. And actually, if you look at a 2009 study about when Obama imposed tariffs on Chinese tire in 2009, you saw a very similar thing where, but like, obviously the good causal inference studies we have all show that tariffs lead to net job losses. You can look at a study the IMF did of 151 countries over 50 years, and they find that tariffs lead to a decrease in productivity, a decrease in employment, a decrease in total output, and have like a modest effect on trade deficits. They don't even particularly address the trade deficits that well.
4% unemployment, which is
well, he was handed 4% unemployment. You can't give him credit for that. That's what Biden gave him.
Okay.
Agreed.
Obviously, like unemployment, it's been like relatively stable, but it has increased slightly. I think it's at 4.3 or whatever. When it was at like pretty close to 4% under Biden. Like it's what was January? January 4, and then it went to 4.1, 4.2, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. But it's been like overall relatively stable. And I mean, again, not always is going to be due to the tariffs. The private sector is going to just have a lot to do with it generally. There's like general churn of the private sector. The monetary policy is going to play a big role too. Even fiscal policy set more by Congress and the president are going to do this stuff. But just have a lot of good evidence that tariffs are really bad, generally speaking. So
Biden's economy was good?
Not agreed. In Biden's economy, inflation went up. There were some years 9%.
So we handled it better than our G7 counterparts. That was kind of a pandemic thing.
We have $6 trillion of new foreign investment coming in. We have a focus on AI.
Which, by the way, if you care about the trade deficit, I have some wonderful news to break to you about what offsets the trade deficit. It's a capital account surplus, baby. It's foreign investment.
We have a focus on energy. Trump has a right vision for Americans, people like you.
So let's talk again about his argument, right? Is that we're going to bring in a bunch of domestic manufacturers, which will be more expensive. Otherwise, we would have been manufacturing here already. We sent them elsewhere because it was cheaper.
True.
And so he's saying we'll bring factories back.
You're saying our job?
Kind of. I mean, also, automation and just general structural changes, which is why we see even in economies with trade surpluses, the manufacturing share of employment declines over time.
You're saying you send our jobs over. It's not the manufacturing that's important. They used to have 20,000 manufacturing companies around Chicago alone. Many of them left, never to return, which are jobs for people like the people in the room and people like that support you.
Solution.
That is
But the manufacturing isn't what's important. It's the jobs that's important. Why wouldn't I believe that trade increases net jobs? I could like there's at least a better argument to say the type of job like maybe, you know, trade does increase net jobs, but like the type of job matters. We should value manufacturing more for national security reasons and or for we want men to be manly men or whatever. But again, we have every indication to believe that trade increases net jobs, and every indication to believe that trade did not even particularly did not harm manufacturing like majorly, even if, you know, China or whatever. Like even that China shock paper by Arthur, Arthur, what's the AD Dorn and Hansen? Yeah, like, you know, even they, although they, you know, probably overestimated, in my opinion, the sort of amount that China shock decreased manufacturing employment. Like they're not saying that holistically trade is bad and the U.S. needs to go back to, you know, back to a situation where we have a bunch of tariffs in China and the rest of the world as well. They just say like the China shock did have some negative effects on many rural communities. And, you know, I think their findings are questionable because of the endogeneity and they don't account for exports properly. But regardless,
broad strokes, draconian tariffs, as shown by we're losing manufacturing.
We're losing manufacturing jobs right now. I can talk about companies I work for.
We'll do a fact check on screen.
I'm going to talk about the company I work for. Oh, I love business owners so much. Oh, I love every single time, bro. I don't get it. I don't know what about business owners makes them like think, because, you know, I've talked to like 2 different people who like own businesses or whatever, and like think they, for some reason, I like have a better understanding of this stuff than me because they own a business, and they never do. Like, again, this isn't like necessarily great causal inference. Actually, you know what? Let me just go to my notion page on this. But, you know, historically, we've seen tariffs have not helped manufacturing jobs. We have evidence from that in Trump's first term. You know, I just kind of cited some of those things. And Luke is right. We are losing manufacturing jobs. This is just total manufacturing payrolls, you know, been going down. No real change in the trend here. It was going up until February 2023. It's been going down ever since. And then this is just the share of total employment. It's also been going down. Doesn't seem like there's any big shift in the trend here as well. You know, job openings in manufacturing not increasing as well. Every business owner is a servant of mammon. This is real. No obvious change in the trend for, you know, real value added by manufacturing. This has still been an upward trend, by the way. If you look at just output in manufacturing and value added in manufacturing, those are still going up. Bro's doing the Destiny slurp noise, it's over. This is true. Destiny clone allegations are real.
Manufacturing in the back, they have more orders they can deliver.
Those are anecdotal, not broader.
Tell me why you're against fair trade for America.
Oh, I'm for that. Heck yeah. And if Trump wanted to negotiate,
then how do you get?
Horrible. What's this fair trader we got going on here?
Without doing tariffs.
If he wanted to use it as a threat, right? He goes to countries, he says, you have these trade barriers. If you don't reduce them, I'm going to slap tariffs. That would be one thing. That's not what he did.
So you think anti-threats work?
But that's not what happened. He just
And again, every single one of the quote-unquote deals he's gotten leaves up trade barriers on our side. You know, like if you want to defend the deals he's gotten, like you force yourself into like literally just defending mercantilism. Like you're just a mercantilist. Like you just want as high trade barriers up on our side as possible while not having trade barriers up on our exports imposed by other countries.
Tariffs on the whole world, including an island.
Which is obviously it's like, you know, you should not view imports as intrinsically less valuable than exports. In fact, one could say even in some senses, exports are just a way that we pay for imports, and imports are the actual benefit from trade.
One's on it, and then started trying to make deals, but it wasn't really working. So he just started, really hear this? Not very many. It was like 3 that were actual deals. And then he just started sending letters to countries with no concessions saying, hey, this is your tariff rate. So there was no concession. We still have to pay higher tariffs here. We don't get the benefits that he says we're going to get, but we get the downsides of paying higher prices.
We get them a chance to employment. The companies I work for get a chance
it's not working.
Okay, pause. You can vote it out.
My friend, Luke, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Nice to meet
What's your
you.
name?
My name is Rosalind.
Rosalind.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're going to do this with everyone. We agree
Okay.
Trump lies when he says foreign countries pay the tariffs.
You know what's interesting about
I love him though, actually. I love him though, actually. So goated. So goated. This is a great first question to ask.
that is that if they weren't paying something, why were they so hard working trying to get out of it?
China.
Bro. Because when price increases, quantity demanded is going to decrease. It doesn't imply that they're paying it. It's like
Japan. Mr. Japan is not paying the U.S. government in tariffs, correct?
Money is coming
who?
in. Money is coming in from multiple countries. First of all,
are they what are the Japanese are the Japanese are they giving us yen? Does the U.S. Treasury want Japanese yen? Do they want Chinese yuan? No, they want U.S. dollars. It's come from U.S. citizens and U.S. companies that have U.S. dollars. Or like multinational companies have U.S. dollars too. You can be headquartered in China and have like some distribution place in the U.S. or whatever. In which case, like it's a Chinese company still paying with U.S. dollars or whatever, and they're still hiring U.S. employees and everything. So it's gonna hurt the U.S. still.
you have UAE, Saudi Arabia, Japan,
In tariffs?
South Korea
In tariffs, yes or no?
that have all come to the table to give more than
Wait,
$1 trillion
we're talking about tariffs
each.
right now. Are these countries paying us in tariffs?
I do
That's
not
what Trump says.
agree that the tariffs were the best idea, but I'll go ahead and give you that, okay?
Cool.
But all of the deals that Trump himself has made with countries that are bringing in
Oh no. Foreign governments have announced trillions of dollars of investment in the U.S. during the Trump administration, including the $1.4 trillion from the first of all. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. Other investments aren't as clear cut. Japan announced $1 trillion in U.S. investments, but that's counting nearly $800 billion from. Okay. I hate Jubilee. Okay. Number one, I don't even think the UAE investments were due to tariff threats, right? I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they weren't, and I'm pretty sure the Trump family stands to benefit directly from that shit. But regardless of that, it is correct. A lot of these things are not clear cut or whatever. We love Jubilee. Actually, I'm gonna game it myself. Japan, I believe, said they couldn't commit to doing it, and Jubilee is right in saying this doesn't apply just for Japan. And this is this thing a lot of trade deals do in general is they sort of include stuff that would have happened otherwise. Obviously, like it's not really $600 billion or $1 trillion in new investment. It's like, oh, we're going to do $1 trillion of investment next year, and we did $800 billion last year, so it's really only $200 billion new investment, and who knows, some of that probably would have happened anyway. The EU, with their non-legally binding deal that they signed with Trump or whatever, like that's like 10 pages long. That as well, the EU said like, hey, this just represents commitments that we think we can get from private companies. This is not legally binding, and the EU does not actually have any way to enforce this. And also, foreign investment, like all else equal, which the issues with the all else equal thing, sure, but like it increases the trade deficit. The trade deficit, the capital, or not more specifically the current account deficit, because the trade deficit can just refer to a part of the current account deficit. It's offset by a capital account surplus. It's offset by the bonds and equities that other and foreign direct investment that other countries do into the U.S.
and over $1 trillion to give to the economy. They're going to make money off of the American people. It's going to be great.
Okay, so major point. I hear it, but let me connect two thoughts. If Trump's so willing to lie to you, saying that foreign countries pay the tariff, which he repeats constantly, which is not true, then maybe he's lying to you about how many investments are happening. Like when they try to document it on their website, the last time I checked, they were able to document like 2.6 trillion and 1.3 trillion of that was from the Biden era in foreign investments in the United States. So if he's willing to lie about the policy he screams about, such a beautiful word, tariff, then he's probably willing to lie about about how many investments are happening.
Okay, first of all, these countries actually came here, made the investments, spoke to the media.
How do you know that?
This is
There's
not
no teeth
out
to
of
it.
During the Biden years, was Japanese investment trending upwards? Pretty steeply, no. I mean, it absolutely would not surprise me. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a Fred series on that or something, but
the ether. They showed up here in the United States, South Korea, Japan, all of these different people. Either they got there or they didn't, and they are going to invest trillions of dollars into our.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think there's stuff for Japanese investment into the U.S. I don't know where data would, or Japan FDI. Is this only? Does this continue too? Is this only for the into the U.S.?
Our economy, it's going to be good. There will be more jobs in this economy than what we can probably
Why are we losing jobs right now then?
You want to know something? We were losing.
Wait, I'm so curious what she was about to say.
Trillions of dollars into our
why are we losing jobs right now then?
Like there are going to be more jobs in our economy, probably what, more than we can fill or whatever, because up until pretty recently we had more job openings than unemployed people, and unemployment has been pretty low over the past few years. It's been ticking like slightly up since like December or whatever, but like it was like under 4% for like some 20 consecutive months or something.
You want to know something? We were losing jobs under Biden.
We had historic job growth.
Don't look at any facts ever.
That is not
it's
true.
We didn't even lose many well, actually on net we might have, but like I don't even know if we lost manufacturing jobs under Biden, because some of the Chips and Science Act and stuff like did help manufacturing. Fred, manufacturing payrolls. There was like a sort of jump under Biden. Like this is obviously 2020. Biden came in 2021. We were at 12,000. This is so this is 12 million, right? Thousands of thousands. And then we when we fell back down to I don't know where we're at. January 2021, 12,145. In January 2025, 12,000. So on net, we still gained jobs. There was a decent increase, and then kind of sloped back down or whatever. But it did reach higher than its pre-COVID peak under Biden.
Well, thanks. First of all,
and Trump has not reversed that trend. So.
Why do we outperform every single country on the planet under Biden in our recovery from the pandemic? We saw better GDP growth, historic unemployment. And then Trump has claimed he brought in $17 trillion in investment to the United States. Okay. Our GDP is like 27, 28 trillion. Does that make any sense? You think
True. He did claim that. It was very funny.
Believe the numbers that Trump said.
Numbers appear to inflate it based on official agreements and announcements. Regardless, those investments will likely take place over years, and in some cases, a decade or more.
But you're quoting to me.
Why? Listen, I'm pretty sure Jubilee overall is like a left-leaning, like they got like lefties running it. You can tell when you fill out the application for shit, they're fucking woke. But like, why are we being so charitable here? Like, why are we saying like the numbers appear to be inflated because it's actually including announcements for stuff that happens over the years? It's like, no, bro. Like Trump claimed, fucking half of our GDP would just come from foreign investments. He's insane. He's lying, and these are not even legally binding agreements most of the time.
Numbers that Biden said.
No.
So you want to know something? If you don't believe one, why do you believe the other?
Trump saying in front of a mic 17 trillion is different than the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm not talking about his words. Trump's words. Nowhere in the government have they been able to substantiate 17 trillion. Zero. They've only been able to substantiate, as I said, like 2.6, 3 trillion, and a big chunk of that comes from the Biden era. Whereas the jobs numbers can be substantiated by independent sources and are the institutions we go to for those trackers, the unemployment, the GDP. All of those things are actually mathematically substantiated, whereas Trump's big bold claims aren't.
Do you want to know something?
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Luke.
Hello.
Doing a good job over there, buddy. You're tough.
Thank you. Let's see what you got for me.
Let's go.
So you agree Trump's lying when he says foreign countries pay the tariff?
I don't say he's lying.
But he's wrong.
But I'm saying it's not the complete truth.
It's not true at all.
Because everybody is involved in who's paying tariffs. Ultimately, it's the companies doing business, but then ultimately it ends up with the consumer. So I have some good feelings on that tariffs. I have some not.
Wait,
so
no. Who cares if it's the company? It's still American company. It's America. It's U.S. dollars going to the treasury from Americans and American companies.
Good feelings. But what I like about it is he's stirring up the pot. He's stirring up the conversation. And what I like about that is he's got the world talking.
Stirring?
Dude, oh my God. Dude, imagine like Trump goes to the UN and just takes like a fucking fat shit on the podium there. And this guy's like, well, I like that Trump is shaking things up. I like that he's starting some conversation. It's like, bro.
I don't want to stir if I have to pay more.
I do.
Stop stirring.
I do.
You want to pay more?
I want to stir it up.
You want to stir it up.
Absolutely.
You
So
want
I like
to
the
lose
world.
jobs, which we have
No, I
happened
don't like
last
jobs.
month.
I don't like
We
that.
lost jobs in June for the first time since the first time Trump was president.
I don't
I
like
don't like
jobs.
losing jobs. And I agree with you. I don't
Okay,
like losing
and-
jobs.
well,
But
then
what I
why
like
would we
is
say it's fun to stir
we
it
have
up?
to get excited about what's possible. And the future for our country and what we're calling MAGAnomics, I'm excited because it's based in capitalism. It's based in
He
free
put shit in
trade.
the spot before
It's
he
based
started.
in
True.
getting the world.
It's not based in capitalism or free trade. Trump is fucking taking equity stakes in Intel and a bunch of mining companies. Trump like wants well, this isn't. I don't want to say like intrinsically anti-capitalist or whatever, but like certainly I don't think most probably intrinsically I would say it's defensible to say it's less capitalist to want a politically controlled Federal Reserve like Trump wants. I guess you could say the Federal Reserve itself was anti-capitalist if you really wanted to go that far, but that seems a little silly to me. He hasn't done much of this, but the price caps that he wanted to do on pharmaceuticals, the price caps that he on the campaign trail said that he was going to do on credit card interest rates, which he hasn't done yet. Maybe he'll do it eventually. Like those things aren't even capitalist. Tariffs obviously aren't free trade, like basically definitionally. And I don't think tariffs are particularly capitalist either.
World involved.
How
It's
is
based in
tariffs
bringing
free trade? That's the opposite of free trade.
It's an attachment to trade, and people are going to negotiate the number. I
It's
mean,
an
you know the history
attachment.
of tariffs. It used to be this, and now it's that, and now it's becoming a new thing. But tariffs are just a
What
part
does
of
that
the.
mean?
Bro, what?
Tariffs are just a part of doing business. It's just
no.
that's all
It's a
it is.
trade. It's a trade barrier. It's a tax.
It can be a barrier, but you negotiate.
So,
if you don't
wait.
negotiate in business,
Again, just so everyone knows here, in case you're next, I don't think.
Okay. Number one, oh my God, I wish I could just be in a position where I say, well, tariffs used to be just a little bit of this. Now they're like that. Like, bro, like, what are we, like, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. What are we doing? God, I wish I didn't have to use evidence for claims. But secondly, again, all the deal, like, you force yourself into defending mercantilism. All the deals are keeping tariffs up on our side.
think you can never use tariffs for anything. There are certain critical
We're in
industries,
agreement.
but Trump is using them on everything, on
That's
all
one
of these
thing that
countries.
he has so
That's it.
many
I'm hanging around
strategies.
working back from the
Strategies. You
chat.
need
Base.
multiple
Strategies.
strategies.
Have you met him?
AI. Look at AI. Look what he's
If you
doing.
wanna-
By the way, AI, the reason AI is booming right now is because he has an exemption from tariffs for that. They're all exempt from the tariffs. They're all exempt. Computer industries are exempt for the most part. I'm sure there's some that still apply, whatever, but kill me.
He's
If you wanna
made
do, like,
the claim.
semiconductor tariffs, that would be one thing. But instead, he's doing it on-
Semiconductors is a
on
good category.
Brazil
I'm glad
and
we agree on
coffee.
that. A great negotiator doesn't limit himself. He takes as
Wow,
much as he
true.
can and he puts it here.
What, again, a bunch of non-legally binding 5-page deals where, like, the biggest concession we get is like, oh, the UK is going to import more American beef now. Oh shit, we did it, guys. That was the big issue of America. Okay, let's go. We did it, folks. American hegemony solved. We did it. China trade war won.
Here,
Those are
and
just
then
like
China
become
defeated.
floating fun
Negotiations
words.
are real, bro.
It doesn't mean anything.
No, they're real.
He's not
If you
negotiating
don't
with most
nego-
of the countries. He's sending letters with just, this is your tariff rate. And then we pay more
Okay,
for
tariffs is one thing. Let's move on to something
That's
else.
the main thing. Okay, well, let's go next to, I think demand side economics, where you really invest in communities that need it and are going to be the quickest to spend that dollar, is a much more effective way to stimulate the economy, as opposed to like supply side trickle down economics.
Demand?
I just wish we would avoid this. I just wish you would avoid this. I don't even think it's like complete, like, if you, like, I don't think it's even completely indefensible to say sort of more broadly that growth is demand driven. But like, I don't, like, he's not gonna be like, well, actually, in the Capital Cambridge controversies, I really read through that and came out with the opinion that actually, growth really is endogenous and demand driven. Like, we're going to say trickle down economics doesn't work. We're going to do this mess. I can't believe you'd vote for vote for Millet and AOC. What an ideology. I don't think I did not say I would vote for Millet. I mean, there are hypotheticals where I would vote for AOC. I guess technically if it was Millet or Hitler, I would vote for Millet. But I don't know sort of what realistic hypothetical I would vote for Millet, because I don't know enough about Argentina at all.
I'm all for demand
And
economics.
Trump is doing the most trickle-down, insane redistribution of wealth from the bottom to the top with his big, beautiful bill.
No.
The largest cut to
No.
Medicaid ever, nearly a trillion
we
over
need
a
to
decade.
trim things. We need to tighten
Wait,
things.
wait. He lowered
Look,
taxes.
I'm on Social Security,
He lowered-
bro. You think I don't worry about this?
He lowered
I worry
tax
about
rates
this.
for the richest Americans.
I'm for that. I'm
While
for
he's
that
taking
because
money
they're
from
the
the
ones-
poorest Americans?
Because the richest people are business owners, and they're who are creating jobs. Without jobs in America, Luke, you know this. Without a job, Luke, in America, without a job, you have nothing. You have no shot at anything.
Right.
It's the most important
Which
thing.
ripping away funds to critical programs hurts
This is a
people's community.
capitalist-
They now have less money. They have less
We got to
ability
tighten. We
to
got to
spend
tighten up.
money
We got to
in the
tighten up.
community.
We
Wait,
give too
no,
much
just-
out.
shh, Let's just
Too
focus.
much.
Let's focus.
Did you
Let's
just
focus.
shush me, Luke?
I did.
Come on,
I
that's
apologize.
disrespectful.
I apologize.
All right, you're
I agree. Let's focus. Can we talk about welfare instead of the cringe job shit?
forgiven.
I apologize. But
Shushing me. Get out of here.
but do you agree? Let's just focus.
Okay, I'm focused.
At the same time, he did one of the biggest giveaways to the wealthiest 1%. He's also, which is increasing our debt. He's also cutting Medicaid. So it's not about tightening up because he's increasing the debt with these taxes for the rich.
Medicaid.
And he's cutting Medicaid. That's not tightening up. It's expanding for the rich.
I can talk about Medicaid. Medicaid has been taken advantage of.
You slapped my hand.
Well,
Real.
it's okay. Medicaid has been taken advantage of. People are getting.
Why is the solution to that like cutting it on the consumer beneficiary side, right? Like why is the and like I don't even know if like all that shit was bad or whatever, because like there were reforms to Medicaid I would make certainly, but like I don't think the solution to Medicaid fraud, which is mostly on the provider side, is just like add work requirements to Medicaid and like end some fucking subsidies. Probably kind of broader than that. It's probably like audits. I believe there's actually a paper that I saw looking at a Coast site, I think, on fucking Medicaid audits.
Medicaid, they don't deserve Medicaid, they don't qualify for Medicaid, it's not okay. So I like it.
whoa.
I like that he trimmed Medicaid.
$1 trillion
I support
over a
that.
decade is going to cut a bunch of people who do rely on it, who aren't
Well,
scammers
we
or
need
fraudsters.
to get them
That's just
healthy.
mathematically
We need
true.
to get them healthy. I focus on let's get the population healthy. We got a bunch of sick
Well, we're not
people.
going to do it by taking away their health care.
There's at least mixed evidence on sort of Medicaid improving health outcomes. I think I've never done a super deep dive. The papers that I know are competing on that, but I've definitely have seen. There are certainly some papers you can find that say Medicaid actually reduced, mortality and stuff.
Let's put the money into fitness and health programs. I like that.
He's not doing that. He's
I like
giving it to rich people.
No, programs to get you healthy.
I
not
know.
Heal you
One
after
way
you're
you
sick.
can say, no.
This is the best you got, bro. Come on, Luke.
Hello.
Gene.
Gene, nice to meet you.
Okay, so about tariffs, it's actually very simple. All we have to do just look what happened before. In 1913, the only money coming into the United States was from tariffs.
What
We
happened
had no
after
income.
1913?
Yeah,
Bro, what was government spending as a percent of GDP in 1913? Probably less than 10%, right?
something bad happened,
Yeah.
but not because of that.
And also,
the tariffs
like-
was bringing so much money.
They're bringing so much money. There's no reason, like, that doesn't mean tariffs are the most effective way. The fact that, like, we use tariffs historically to raise revenue, it does not follow that the tariffs are the most effective way to raise revenue. If we had a conception of what a VAT was back then, it probably would have been better to do a VAT back then. Like, that's a percentage of GDP 1913. Although wait, we were not in World War One before that, right? So we're still good. I don't think. Fred does not go back as far. Yeah, approximately 8.1%. Google AI overview says. But even if so obviously in modern day tariffs are not going to be able to raise as much revenue. But even if they could, even if they raised so much revenue or so epic, why would I not just want a VAT or any type of more efficient tax? Why would I not want a tax on economic rents? That's less distortionary.
That we could was able to buy the land, we could borrow the money to other countries. Everything was fine. Then there was a creation of the financial system.
Okay,
Now,
well-
but the history
Bro.
history has
Yeah.
the facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had
God, I knew it was gonna happen too when he said 1913. Oh, I was like, we're gonna get the fucking Federal Reserve memes.
economy running beautifully just on the tariffs with no income
Yeah.
tax, no land tax, nothing else.
We didn't.
Wow.
Why is it not going to work this time?
So we have a fundamentally different economy, and I think you have rose-colored glasses about that time, and we then went into the Great Depression not too long after
No,
that.
no.
But,
This is
but
the
let's
part-
focus. But we have a fundamentally different economy. Unless you want us to get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid completely, then it's not going to make any sense for us to pretend like we can go back to
They
the time
created the financial system. Yeah, I
when we had
know.
a fundamentally different tax structure.
Intelligent. He's read the fucking meme boomer Reddit post about the Fed. Okay, He's seen the graph about the value of the dollar. Why did wages stagnate post 1971? I don't think compensation has stagnated post 1971. I think if you look at, if you include non-wage benefits in that, if you don't use CPI, which CPI probably overestimates inflation, especially over the longer run. 1971 was before the Boston Commission in 1996 or whatever that found CPI was overestimating inflation by 1.1 percentage points a year or whatever. So I think if you use PCE, which is probably better, and if you include non-wage compensation, you don't really see that wages have stagnated. If you include it's not wages, it's not market income obviously, but if you include transfers, government transfers, you can see, obviously you see, we've started paying out a lot more in government transfers to people, which kept income rising, even if, market income has been stagnant for some people that are lower skill.
So I just because we were talking about before, we've done a lot of tariff talk, and I think I made my point on that. I would love to hear your stance, because I thought we were populists in this room, MAGA populism, but we're okay giving huge tax breaks to wealthy folks while you're ripping away healthcare from millions of Americans. Because that's an economic
policy. What is your fact that wealthy getting a tax break?
Oh, that was in Trump's big beautiful bill. Every single individual.
Absolutely not.
It was.
Absolutely no. Absolutely not. Okay. The fact is, the tariffs bring money right now in. And here's what he's proposing with the money we're gonna do. The people who's gonna make.
Are we not going to address the point about the distributional effects of the big beautiful bill? If any, the tariffs only add to that, right? Because tariffs are regressive. So Luke Beasley's we talked enough about tariffs. Let's talk about the fact that a lot of these tax cuts are going to the wealthy, and now we're just saying, well, don't you know the tariffs though? And it's okay, well,
less than $150,000.
Bro, I swear my camera, it's not. I don't know if I moved it or something. It's where it's not like it usually is.
We'll get payback. People.
He's not going to give that to you. I promise.
You can't see the future.
I can.
Right?
I can.
No, you can't.
I really can.
Look in my eyes. You can't. It's a
you
delusion.
have a deep sadness in your eyes.
In my eyes.
No, so okay, maybe wait for him to give you some paycheck, but in the meantime, he's ripping away healthcare. In the meantime, he's taking away SNAP benefits. In the meantime, he's giving huge tax breaks to wealthy folks. That's deranged.
We just had the biggest fraud uncovered in Social Security and Medicaid, and it happened.
Oh my god. Yeah, I remember when Doge lied about that too. Dude, I don't even remember what the fucking meme was. God, cause I remember because the Doge just lied about how much fraud there was. And there's already been an Inspector General report or talking about it or whatever. I think they lied about how many old people were on Social Security and shit, or they expected to be dead or whatever. I think they just counted the number of people over the age of 100 or something, and it's well, we automatically start giving payments after the age of 115 anyways, and also it was 2% of those people were actually collecting payments or whatever. It's just that there aren't electronic death records everywhere, and it would cost money. It would cost more money than we would save to go through the Social Security record and expunge all the people who are plausibly dead. So it's just not worth to do it. The economy was good under Obama. That thinks Obama it was so good under Obama that thinks Obama became a meme. This is true. This is real.
Administration
under Trump.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
So that's why a bunch of people have to lose their health. That's not. Just to be clear, my issue is that he's bloating the deficit in the debt, while he's giving tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans. If you look at independent analyses, you'll see the combined outcome of this bill, which is not a good economic policy. It's a part of his MAGAnomics thinking. The trickle-down nonsense is that the poorest Americans lose wealth. Literally, that's the analysis, and the wealthiest Americans gain wealth.
Okay.
Pause. We're out of time.
Okay. Yeah.
My next claim is Trump is an authoritarian.
If you want to chat with me live, sub here or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch or Kick via the links below. Once again, please like and sub to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support me, and I'll make sure to reply to any question you ask. See you guys next time.